guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate your time. I'm going to be very quickly today just having a quick conversation with you, or sharing maybe a perspective that is oftentimes not really talked about, and I understand why. It's not really something people usually want to hear. However, I do think that what I have to say today is particularly important. And if you are hate watching this video, just listen. Just take a minute, brief disclaimer here. Just listen to what I'm saying. Listen to the things that I present as things I experience, and be open to that. As well as anyone else who is watching this video for any other reasons that are not really open to hearing what I have to say, please just listen to what I have to say, okay? All right. So I'm going to get started. I have all the reasons that I wrote here on my laptop. I have 7 reasons. Really going to briefly talk about them. Okay, so the number one reason that I hate having pretty privilege is because, frankly, the cons outweigh the pros. And I'm going to obviously talk about some of those cons in this video. But in general, I can say that the cons of being pretty and having pretty privilege outweigh the pros. And the reason why I say this is because when I sit back and I think about all the different times when I feel like my looks have been a factor in a situation, depending on how it went, whether it was positive or negative, I can genuinely say that most of those times I have not sat and thought to myself, like, I'm so happy that I'm pretty, or I'm so glad that that person thought I was attractive. That's not really realistic. I don't really feel like that has happened more than the other. Usually what I think of is, wow, like, I'm being treated really crappy right now because I'm attractive, or that person thinks I'm attractive, so that's why they're trying to be mean to me, or that's why they're treating me a certain way. That's usually what I think of, honestly. So yeah. Number 2 is, and this one is, kind of sensitive topic for me and very personal to my heart, and trigger warning to anyone moving forward in this video. I will be talking about sexual, so trigger warning. Number 2 is constantly being in threat of sexual assault, as well as receiving unwanted attention all the time. In particular, as it relates to like my daily experiences, there are definitely times where I am in an environment where I don't feel safe. I'm sure that's like a general thing that women experience, but in particular, when I guess you have conventional beauty, or you attract a lot of attention from people, you'll find yourself in situations where you feel like people are watching you, and watching you in a way that is unsafe. So if you're walking to your car, or you're in the market or something like that, and someone sees you, they stop you, they express that they are attracted to you and they would like to date you, and you basically say, oh no, no thank you, I'm good, or no thank you, I'm married. They are not able to accept that answer, and so then it becomes this thing of, well, I'm going to intimidate you and, posture myself in a way that makes you feel afraid of me. And that's how I'm going to punish you for rejecting me. And that actually happens to me quite often. I am not always in a situation where I completely feel like I'm getting ready to be harmed, but there has definitely been a few occasions in my life that I can look back and think of where I felt unsafe, and I felt like because I rejected that person, they were going to, potentially do something to me. And those are like on the day to day. Now, talking about specific experiences that I have being sexual, I can easily go back to when I was a commercial print model, and I will be on set. And if you're unfamiliar with that sort of atmosphere, there's a lot of people usually on set within any given time, and they're not always people who are there for work. So you'll have entourages, you'll have people who are just a friend of a friend, you'll have socialites there, especially if it's not specified as a closed set. There would be a lot of people just there kind of like gawking and staring at the models. And that can sometimes cause a very unsafe environment for the models. And there were quite a few times where someone had touched me, grabbed me, cornered me in a room, proceeded to try to sexually assault me or force me to do something I didn't want to do. And I was able to fight them off and exit the room or the space. There was an incident where this guy ejaculated on me and rubbed his fluids on my skin. And he was just like there on set. Like I don't really want to go into details, but there has been quite a few times where I was sexually assaulted. And I truly feel in my heart it has to do with people's attraction to me in an unhealthy manner. And I'm not saying that this is something I experience, or should I say that women with pretty privilege only experience sexual assault. I'm absolutely not saying that, but I am acknowledging that I do believe that my looks were definitely a factor. Um, because I'm a model on set, and I oftentimes when models are on set, you're not wearing a lot of clothing. There's a lot of times we are transitioning quickly and briefly and out of clothing, and there's multiple opportunities for someone to harm you or do something to you that's inappropriate or against your consent. And oh my god, that happened to me I don't know how many times. Something along the lines of the things I mentioned previously. When you're dating, it's the same exact thing. There are men don't who don't want to play nice with you. They don't want to date you. They don't want to woo you. They don't want to take you out. They don't want to kind of win over your trust or win over your consent. They want to take it from you because they feel that there is a certain value attached to forcing a woman that looks like you to do things for them or do things to them that they want you to do. And there was definitely an incident where I experienced that on a date with someone, and it was very traumatic. So yeah, so let's move on. So number 3 is the pressure to be perfect from friends and family. You can't really have an off day, and things like your weight and your hair and just every little thing about you is constantly being monitored by others. And while that may seem like it's kind of insignificant or small, it's definitely not. It is very painful, or should I say, it can be very painful and even cause you to have anxiety because you constantly have people commenting on how you look and volunteering their opinions based off of them thinking you have this thick skin, right? Like you're pretty, so everyone loves you. Everyone is constantly telling you what you want to hear when that's not true. Number one, that's not true. So because people assume these things, they assume that they can just be as critical and as abrasive and as harsh to your face as they possibly can because they think you can take it. Yeah, so if you're not, showing up the way they expect you to be or how they are used to seeing you, if you're just running out the house, you're having a bad day, you're not having a good day, you're not able to slay your makeup the way you usually do, or your hair is out of place, they will make note of that and they'll comment on it, and that could be just one of those days where you don't need to hear anything, you know what I mean? So yeah. Number 4 is people will proactively mistreat you because they are compensating for the better treatment that they assume that you receive, kind of what I mentioned. This happens to me quite a bit, and it's almost to the point now where I'm used to it, so I don't really take it personal anymore. When I was younger, I used to really take it personal, but not so much anymore because I have become familiar with recognizing what it is. And it is very frustrating because it can kind of be like a roadblock when it comes to you trying to connect with people, whether it's on a professional kind of mingling level, we are trying to network and meet new people, or if you're just trying to make friends and share experiences and find commonality with someone. If they are looking at your appearance, and because of your appearance they are assuming all these other things about you, they will treat you a certain way. Yeah, it definitely sucks, and it is just, it's not, it's basically, it's what I'm saying is it's unfair, because you will have people, instead of getting to know you, instead of, evaluating your personality and how they're going to treat you based off of their own experiences, they will just assume that they can treat you a certain way to kind of balance out the universe for however they think that you're being treated. And yeah. Number 5, others will project their insecurities onto you. And this is definitely something that I have experienced, in particular, when it comes to job interviews or anything where I have to meet someone, make a first impression, and based off of that first impression, they're going to give me an opportunity. There have been plenty of occasions where I show up for a job interview and I am there talking and I'm meeting with the recruiting manager, and whether they're a man or a woman, if I represent something to them, if I remind them of some type of person that made them feel bad about themselves, I will now be receiving however they feel like they should have treated that person. So, whether it was a high school bully or, just any of those types of things, I am now kind of like a conduit or like a representation of that. So instead of giving me a chance as a person and, looking at my credentials and asking me questions about my experience, it will turn into, I'm going to reject you because you make me feel like a teenager. I'm going to reject you because you make me feel insecure. And it's just, it could absolutely be a hindrance in those type of situations. Number 6 is people will dehumanize you and are less likely to think you need help. Uh, they oftentimes don't feel like you deserve sympathy, or that you have real problems. People assume that you're always getting out of tickets because you're attractive, or people just want to treat you nice because you're attractive, or your life is just so much easier and doors open up for you because you're attractive. And that is absolutely not the case. And yeah, people just assume all these things about you, and they assume, there's no possible way that you could be struggling today, or that you could have depression or any of these other things because of how you look. So finally and lastly, number 7 is dating is extremely difficult and oftentimes unfulfilling. I am currently married, but when I was single and dating, I constantly ran into men who were not interested in getting to know me. They just wanted me because I represented something to them, some type of trophy or something to bring to the barbecue, you know what I mean? And have your uncle say, I see you, nephew. Like, just very ridiculous things like that. I would oftentimes run into men who didn't want me to talk. um, they really were not interested in what I had to say, my ideas, my personal beliefs, the things that make me who I am. They really didn't care about my personality. They just wanted me to kind of stand there. A lot of times I was reduced to, sexual desires, and instead of them dating me or, pursuing me because they want me and want to get to know me as a person, I find out that the whole reason why they're even talking to me is because they want to see me naked and they just want to have sex with me, and they don't care about me at all as a person, and that a couple of times of that happening can really cause a person to become reclusive and very afraid of dating. So yeah, it can definitely become this ongoing wave of just people just ignoring who you are. And you kind of hey, I want you to get to know me, and they're like, just want your panties off, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was definitely frustrating. I actually implemented something to kind of get around that when I was single, and that was dating on the phone. And that really helps me eliminate a lot of those type of guys. Honest to God, it did. Yeah, so those are just some of the things I experienced. And those are all compound reasons as to why I don't enjoy having pretty privilege. And I just want to say briefly before I go, it is absolutely a real thing. I'm not going to sit here and act like there is nothing about being conventionally attractive or having features that fall into conventional beauty standards. Yes, there are some things that happen or opportunities that I have received that were, contingent upon my looks. But as I said in this video, a lot of those things quickly turn into ugly and negative things because people don't always people are not always attracted to you for positive reasons, and they don't want to treat you nice, and they don't want to get to know you and give you a real chance because there's so much that they're projecting onto you, and it's not always a positive thing. I just have to be honest. That's why I started the video off saying there's more cons than pros, at least in my experience, if I'm being very honest. But yeah, those are my reasons that I don't like having pretty privilege. Please comment below if you are feeling what I'm saying, or comment below if you're not feeling what I'm saying, or if you have criticisms or issues about any of the things that I voiced in this video. But thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end and you actually gave my video a chance, I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to give my video a thumbs up before you leave. And yeah, take care. Bye.